Yes, guys, your eyes are not tricking you. You are really looking at a video from Big Dave HS. I never thought I'd be doing this again, but I have been playing a combo deck, which I absolutely am loving right now. This is not my deck. This is one of, well, it's Dane's concept. I've tweaked it to fit where I am on the ladder, which is not very high because I don't play Hearthstone anymore. But guys, this deck is absolutely amazing, and it is just amazing. I can't say amazing again. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So, without further ado, let's go in and take a look at this absolute ringer of a deck.
They will never catch me.
So Hearthstone's in a bit of a weird spot right now, which is why I don't play it anymore. It basically just gets encompassed by the most powerful cards. It doesn't matter what deck you're running. If you are playing the cards that are the strongest, then you're just going to win games. The introduction of the StarCraft set proved that. Now, I haven't really been... I've kept a toe in just to, you know... I still watch all the streamers I used to watch. But I've kept a toe in. To be fair with you, if I'm being completely honest, when I'm on the bog, I play Hearthstone. It's as simple as that. But this deck, I've been watching and I've seen all the discontent for like Armor, Demon Hunter, and how broken it is. And that comes down to the StarCraft set again, like I've said. Arcanite, Defense Crystal. Not really doing what I think the devs wanted it to do. That being said, this deck that Dane's caught with absolutely just wipes the floor with Armor Demon Hunter. And to be fair, just about every other sort of deck in the game right now. If it switches to an aggressive meta, then this is going to be no good. This is a slow combo. It's a combo deck, and combo decks you need time. Now, this was Dane's list. This is not the... Well, this was Dane's list yesterday. I've not... he was streaming earlier, but I missed it because I was working. So I don't know if he's changed it. He was chopping and changing as he was going through. This wasn't working for me, so I have chopped and changed myself to this one. Now, this has been continually evolving to the point where... in fact, let me get the stats up here. Where is it? So 63% win rate out of 16 games. Not bad. It's not bad. All things considered right now in the way things are. It's a very hard deck to play. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So if you want just click and go decks like Paladin, for example, then this is probably not going to be the deck for you. But it is a combo deck. And when it works, oh my God, does it work. I still struggle with it myself. And the gameplay that you're about to start watching over this now, because they are long games, you'll see I still make mistakes. I think the one I'm going to show you will be against the Shaman. Didn't really get the order going. I mean, to be fair, I was trying to play around Hex. I convinced myself because he's Shaman, he must have a Hex in hand. It turns out he didn't. So, I mean, the amount of Demon Hunters there are floating around right now, you would think any Shaman list would be running Hex. Probably just me, the way I play Hearthstone. But... nevertheless, here we go. You should now be watching the gameplay, and I'm going to run you through this deck, which again is Dane's, not mine. So, it is a combo deck, and the combo pieces consist of your Adaptive Amalgam, which has got a Death Rattle. Death Rattle, shuffle this into your deck. It keeps all enchantments, or any enchantments. That's important, remember that. The other one is the Archdruid of Thorns. This is a card that we got in the new set. Battle Cry. It's not a Death Rattle, it's a Battle Cry, but it gains the Death Rattles of anything that died this turn. Okay, you see maybe some of you putting this together now. We have, so that's the second combo piece. Well, that's the final combo piece. The other combo piece we've got is the Prize Vendor. This is a Death Rattle and a Battle Cry. Everyone draws a card. Both players draw a card. So Battle Cry and Death Rattle, you draw 2 cards. So that's another combo piece. Another combo piece we've got is the Frostbitten Freebooter. This is not in Dane's list, so this is what I've put in because this does unbelievable amounts of damage. Death Rattle, it freezes 3 random enemies. any that were already frozen take 5 damage instead. Again, very, very important piece. We have got the Arcanite Defense Crystal. This is probably the mainstay of this deck. Without this card, this deck just doesn't work. I mean, it can work because you've got like plated beetles, so it could probably work with those. You get 1 less armor, but the way this ramps up, it wouldn't really make that much of a difference. Then we have got Eternal Layover, Summoner Dark Marrow, and we've got the big boy, the Ceaseless Expanse. So what are all these combo pieces doing? Well, let me tell you. On your combo turn, you are not going to play all of those cards at once because you don't have the mana to do it. But what you are going to do is definitely, absolutely 100% play your Adaptive Amalgam. You are then definitely 100% going to play some variation of the other cards that I have said, be it the Defense Crystal. Now, if you've launched your Starship and played Exodar, you get your Defense Crystals back as 1 mana minions, which is fantastic because that's exactly what we want. Cheap minions. So you could tempo out or play out a couple of those on your combo turn, or even just one. One will do fine for now. To get started, one is good. We then play, so that's 2 mana. Let's assume we've got the Arcanite Defense Crystal for 1 mana. That's 2 mana. We've played our Adaptive Amalgam. We've played our Arcanite Defense Crystal, 2 mana. We then are going to play our Prize Vendor, which is going to draw us 2 cards. We will then, this is where it gets clever, guys, one or two different things. We are then going to play Eternal Layover. This is a Demon Hunter card, so you need the Taurus card, which is Summoner Dark Marrow. That's going to kill everything on the board. It's going to make them reborn, destroy them, then resummon them, so they'll all have 1 health. So everything on your side of the board has just died. You then play your Archdruid of Thorns. That will then gain the Death Rattle from the Adaptive Amalgam. Remember, that keeps all enchantments and shuffles it into your deck. That will then keep the Death Rattle of gain 4 armor. It will then keep the Death Rattle of draw a card. So when this dies, when your opponent kills this, if they don't kill it, you trade it off. Or we've got other ways in the deck to kill it. But when this dies, it will shuffle a copy of itself into your deck. It will keep the enchantments because it's copied the Adaptive Amalgam. It will then draw you a card. It will then, and your opponent a card. It will then gain you 4 armor. Every time that card dies, that is the death rattle that is going to trigger on it. And then as you go through the game, you are then going to do more death rattles and add to that death rattle that's already on there. So the next time you draw it, you have got your Ceaseless Expanse, you have got 2 Drain Souls, so you could play the one that we've just buffed up, kill it off with a Drain Soul. If it stays alive on board and you can trade it off, fantastic, but let's just assume you can't. You play that you play that Archdruid out. You then Drain Soul the Archdruid and then play the other Archdruid. So that will copy the enchantments of the death rattle that's just died. Okay? So then you've got 2 Archdruids that will all both do the same thing. But you can do different things with it as well. So obviously we have got Ceaseless Expanse. Hopefully this is 0 mana. So the next time you will play the Archdruid that's got all the buffs or all the death rattles attached to it. You will then play another Arcanite Defense Crystal if you've got it. And you will play the Frostbitten Freebooter, both copies if they're there. You'll then kill them both with the Ceaseless Expanse. Then you'll play the other Archdruid out. Then that Archdruid will copy the Archdruid that's just going to die, plus all the extra death rattles that you've just put into it. Then the next time you play the Archdruid, it's going to have all of those death rattles attached to it. If you kill that off, and then play another Archdruid, it will keep all the death rattles that are attached to that one onto that one. And this is how it scales up. It was constantly scaling. So at the end, every time one dies, it will fire 12 random freezes or 5 damage if they're already frozen. It will gain you 20 armor. It will draw you 3 cards. Those cards are going to be more Archdruids because they're constantly shuffling themselves back into your deck. This is the process that we're going to do. And that's it, guys. That is as simple as that. Then your opponent is stuck because they want to kill them. They've got, well, there's 2 things they can do. They either ignore them and just hit you in the face, try and chip your armor down. It doesn't matter because you've got a ton of armor. I was playing against a Death Knight the other day and he had a starship that was like a 2538 or something like that. He launched his Exodar, he hit me in the face with all this damage. It was irrelevant. I had like 500 armor, so it didn't bother me in the slightest. I just traded off all of my Archdruids into his Taunt starship, and that was it. It drew him more cards, it drew me more cards, it shuffled more into my deck, it gave me more armor, froze all his board, he couldn't do anything. In the end, he ended up conceding. You're going to see in the gameplay that's going on now how this all comes together, but that is essentially it. You have got to think, though. The more adaptive amalgams that you can kill off and get that shuffle effect going, the better. You are then going to use the other cards in this list in some way, shape or form to stay alive. And the cards that I have picked to do that are as follows. So we've got one Consume. Now I put this in because they get the Hunter matchups I was struggling against quite a lot. In Dane's list, I was finding that I was clogging my hand up. I had too many bits that I couldn't use, or that they were combo pieces. I didn't want to play them. So I needed to have a hand that was more proactive. So I cut a lot of his cards out. I cut some of his cards out and replaced them with these ones. Consume is obviously in there. That's going to tell you that we are running the Ultralisk Cavern. The Caverns are really, really good. When you play the Eternal Layover, everything comes back on your opponent's side of the board with 1 health. If you keep a charge on your location, that then nerfs the board. It kills the board off, which is really, really good. So I'm actually going to make another change to this. I have been constantly changing it when I've lost against other things. So I am going to change it again. I've got Dane's got 2 curse campaigns. I've only got 1. I actually don't think I need any, if I'm honest. It can be annoying for your opponent, but then there's been times where I've done this, I've board locked myself, and then I've lost the game because I forgot that I had, or I've done something stupid like copied the Death Rattle so that when my Archdruids died, I get 2 like sleeping ones on the board. Again, that slows you down, and when they get resummoned because they've been dormant, they resummon. They don't have the Death Rattle attached to them, so you've got to kill them off before you can play more. That enchantment stays on there because that's the what we've got on from the Amalgam Death Rattle, so it's very annoying. I think I'm going to cut that and put in another Eternal Layover, if I'm honest. But carry on. I then got the Solarium. This back in the day, this card was OP. It was in like every aggressive Warlock deck out there. It's even in the big Warlock decks. It is insane. And I think it still is insane. I don't know if many people are playing it nowadays, but I am. It's fantastic late game if you want to get more Archdruids to throw out on the board, once you've started shuffling them in. It's fantastic mid game if you're looking for that certain thing. If you're looking for some AoE, maybe a table flip, you play the Solarium. If you're just looking for your Arcanite Defense Crystal because you need to get that thing online as soon as possible, you roll this out. You get 3 cards in your hand. That might put your table flip down to 1 mana, so you can then play your AoE. You then play Arcanite Defense Crystal on an empty board. Something like that. Solarium just works, I think, personally. Plus, we want to get through our deck as quickly as we can, so more draw, the better. We've got 2 Brittlebone Buccaneers. These are in Dane's list. They're fantastic just for the other death rattles that we've got that we want to be able to just make sticky. We want our opponents to be doing stuff. So plus there's other decks out there that you can't really just not have a board for the rest of the entire game. Sometimes you've got to make these little trades. The Brittlebone enables that completely with things like Dreadhound Handler. So you get 4 rush damage that you can quite easily take out a couple of leeches or an Arcanite Defense Crystal. It leaves you with tokens on board. Fantastic. In the middle there we've got a Drain Soul. Again, you can use this defensively if you want to, but it's really good if you're against a deck that is running something like a Hex, maybe. Then you play your Drain Soul on your own Archdruid, so it shuffles back into your deck and it doesn't lose any enchantments. We've then got Eat the Imp. Again, those reborn Dreadhounds are really good targets for this, again, or if you want to kill off your own minion. Eat the Imp, you destroy a friendly minion, you draw 3 cards. We need to get through our deck and find these combo pieces as quickly as possible. With Eat the Imp and the Solarium, that's 9 cards we can draw. With the tap as well from the hero power, you can get through your deck reasonably quickly. Sometimes it doesn't feel like quickly enough, but reasonably quickly. We've got Soul Searching. Again, Dane runs 2 of these. I've got 1. Sometimes comes in clutch. Sometimes it's just too slow. If you're against an aggressive deck, it's really, really slow. But it can find you cards that, you know, if you've got 5 corpses, it can find you cards like you want to copy, sort of like your Arcanite Defense Crystal. Or you might get another Exodar. Or you might get another, or anything. It's just really, really good. So only in certain situations. I'm not 100% sure about this card, which is why I cut 1. But there we go. Curse Campaign, as I've said, I'm not too sure about this. It can be good if you get it on a big starship and you want to stick aboard. If you're really clever, you can launch a starship and then make it dormant for 2 turns. It gives you those 2 turns to set up for your combo turn. And then there's death rattle from those starships when you do like your Eternal Layover will go into your Arc Druid as well. But you don't need to do that. That's only if you want to flex and get like hundreds and hundreds of armor. All you want to do is win games. And, you know, even against this list here, I've beaten plenty of armor demon hunters without going for the big armor gains. You know, a couple of 100 armor is fine in the grand scheme of things. So I think I'm going to cut this for another Eternal Layover just so that I can get my combo more consistently. Or it's just more AoE with the locations. So there you go. We have got Sleepy Residence, probably the GOAT of this deck, if I'm completely honest with you guys. Behind a Buccaneer, if you can get the Reborn on it. If your opponent could have the biggest board in the world, they kill this and that just negates their turn completely. Unless they've got spells, there's nothing else they can do. It is absolutely fantastic. I love this card now. I'm surprised I didn't run it in more control decks. It is fantastic. We've got Exodar again. We want to get the spaceship launched. Even if it's only got 1 Arcanite Crystal in it, you want to launch that thing as soon as you possibly can to get the 1 mana copy for your combo turn. And 2 table flips and the Ceaseless. And that's it, guys. I realise this has been a bit of a long video, especially for a comeback. I mean, I say a comeback. I don't think I'll be back for very long. I'd imagine we've got nerfs coming next week. So I'd imagine things are going to change again quite drastically. I hope they leave the crystal alone. I hope they tweak the Demon Hunter cards that are causing the problem. Although now it seems like Hunter and Location Warlock are more the issue than anything else. So actually just the whole Zerg package just needs looking at personally, but what are you going to do? So I hope it makes sense, everything I've explained. I know I'm probably not the best one. The best thing to do is go and watch Dane play it on Twitch. I'll leave his link, his video, his deck in the comments down below, as well as this deck list that I'm running myself. Obviously, the list I'm going to post is going to have the Curse Campaign. Keep it in if you want to, but I am going to swap it out for another Eternal Layover. And that is it, guys. So like I say, or I said at the beginning of this video, I have now played 16 games with a 16 games and a 65% win rate with it. So it absolutely can get you to Legend if you want to. It's it's just insane. It really is really just fantastic. I hope, again, this has been a long video. I thank you all if you've made it this far. But I hope it makes sense. I hope this gives you some gratification, because I love BMing, especially when they BM you. I've had 2 Death Knights and a Demon Hunter BM me thinking that they won, and then I've killed off a couple of Arch Druids and they're like, oh shit, because I've suddenly got like 40 armor that they've got to get through with like 0 board, and then they think, oh, it's alright, I'll play Kill Jaden. That doesn't save you. That does not save you. So there you go, guys. It's good to see you again. I don't know how long I'm going to play Hearthstone for. Like I say, I've only been dipping a toe in. This deck has changed my mind completely about the game. I do think it's still dying, I do, but this deck has made me think twice. So there you go. Go and play it. It is amazing. Go and play it right now. Take care, guys, and I will hopefully, maybe, possibly see you again very soon. Stay safe.